Here's something almost no one will say out loud. The times nicer times some men become, the times faster times women lose interest in them. Not because kindness is bad. Kindness is beautiful, but because most men have completely misunderstood what the phrase a good man actually means, and that one misunderstanding quietly destroys the respect a woman once had for them. Today I'm going to walk you through 5 reasons why many women don't want the kind of good man most men turn themselves into. And I need you to pay close attention to reason number 5, because number 5 is the times root times underneath the other 4. Once you see it, the first 4 suddenly click into place, and you'll never look at your relationships the same way again. So do me one favor, don't skip ahead. Let this build. If you jump straight to number 5 without the first 4, it won't land and it won't change anything for you. If you're new here, welcome. My name is Sophia, and on this channel we break down female psychology, attraction, and the relationship truths that are easy to feel but hard to explain. If that's the kind of thing you think about but rarely hear said, honestly subscribe, because I post something like this every week. Now, quick promise before we start. This is not times a video about telling men to be cold, harsh, or arrogant. It's the opposite. By the end, you'll understand how to be genuinely good times and times deeply respected at the same time. Most men are told those 2 things are opposites. They're not. Let's begin. The first reason is one most men never even consider: you became too easy to read. Here's what I mean. In the beginning, there's a little bit of mystery. She doesn't fully know what you'll say, whether you'll agree, whether she has you figured out. That small uncertainty creates tension, and tension is where attraction lives. Then, slowly, the man decides the safest way to keep her is to become completely predictable. He agrees with everything. He's available every second. He never pushes back. He removes every ounce of tension, and without realizing it, he removes the very thing that made her lean in. Because attraction isn't built on comfort alone. It's built on comfort times a little bit of edge. A man who has his own opinions, his own taste, his own line he won't cross, that man stays interesting. A man she can script word for word before he even speaks. She stops wondering about him. And when she stops wondering, she starts drifting. So here's the honest question, and I actually want you to think about your answer. When was the last time you disagreed with her, calmly, without folding the second she frowned? If you can't remember, that's not a small detail. That's the whole game. And notice this isn't about being difficult. It's about being times real. But being real is only step 1, because there's a deeper layer to this, and it's reason number 2. And remember, all of this is leading somewhere. Every reason I give you is a clue pointing at number 5, the one underneath all of them. Keep it in the back of your mind. The second reason is a trap so common that most men fall into it and call it love. He hears her say, "I want a man who's there for me," and he translates that into, "I have to fix every problem, absorb every bad mood, and manage every emotion she has." So he becomes her therapist, her fixer, her emotional shock absorber. When she's stressed, he panics. When she's upset, he drops everything. When she's cold, he over-explains until she warms back up. He thinks he's being needed. And being needed feels safe, because if she needs you, she can't leave, right? But here's the truth many women feel and can't quite put into words. Being needed is not the same as being wanted. A woman doesn't actually want a man whose entire emotional state rises and falls with hers. That's not safety, that's instability wearing a nice guy costume. What creates real safety is a man who stays times calm, times when she's not. A man who can say, "I'm right here. And when you're ready to talk about this the right way, we'll figure it out," and then actually stay steady instead of spiraling with her. Think about it from her side. If every storm she has knocks you over too, then who's holding the ground? A woman relaxes around a man who doesn't get pulled under by her waves. That steadiness is more attractive than any gift, any text, any grand gesture. So let me ask you directly, and drop your honest answer in the comments. I read them. Do you stay calm when she's emotional, or do her moods run your entire day? Be honest with yourself. That single pattern quietly decides how she sees you. But steadiness alone still isn't enough, because there's something even the calmest man can get wrong. That's reason number 3. The third reason is the one that stings, because it usually comes from a good heart. He falls for her, and slowly she becomes his everything. His friends fade. His hobbies collect dust. His goals go quiet. His whole life reorganizes around one person. And in his mind, that times is times love. Look how much I've given up for you. But watch what actually happens on her side. The man she was first attracted to had a life, a direction, a spark, a world of his own that she wanted to be invited into. Now that world is gone, and she's the only thing left in it. That's not romantic to her. That's times pressure. Suddenly, she's responsible for being your happiness, your motivation, your entire reason to get up in the morning. And no human being can carry the weight of being someone's whole world without eventually feeling suffocated. There's a psychology term for what happens next. It's the difference between a times scarcity times mindset and a times abundance times mindset. A man in scarcity treats her like she's the last good thing that will ever happen to him, so he clings, he chases, he overgives. A man in abundance has a full life purpose, friendships, growth, standards, and he chooses her from a place of strength, not fear. And women feel that difference instantly, even if they can't name it. Here's the part that flips everything. The moment you rebuild your own life, your mission, your friendships, the things that light you up, you don't just become more attractive to her. You become harder to lose yourself over. Two whole people build something strong. One whole person carrying one empty person builds something that collapses. Quick pause, if this is hitting home so far, share this with one person who needs to hear it. Someone in your life is living reason 3 right now and doesn't even know it. That one share might genuinely change how they love. And this connects straight into reason 4, because a man without his own world usually can't do the one thing coming up next. The 4th reason is where most good men lose the game without ever seeing it happen. Almost every man says he has standards. I don't tolerate disrespect. I know my worth. I won't be walked over. Beautiful words, but here's the real test, and women are always quietly watching for it. What actually happens when that boundary gets crossed? Because a boundary with no consequence isn't a boundary. It's just a sentence. If you tell her disrespect isn't okay, and then she disrespects you, and times nothing changes, times you didn't set a boundary, you set a suggestion. And she learns, without even trying to, that your words and your actions don't match. And let me be really clear, because men get this part dangerously wrong. A consequence is not punishment. It's not yelling, it's not the silent treatment. It's not control. A consequence is simply times consistency, times your behavior matching your values calmly every single time. If honesty matters to you, dishonesty has to actually cost something. If respect matters, repeated disrespect has to change how you engage. Not with drama, with quiet follow-through. Here's what almost no one tells you. Respect doesn't collapse in one big betrayal. It erodes one ignored boundary at a time. Each time you let something slide that you swore you wouldn't, a tiny bit of respect drains out of the relationship so slowly that you don't notice until it's mostly gone. And the strange, beautiful truth? Women feel safer times with a man whose boundaries are real. Not because they want to be restricted, but because a man who respects his own line is a man who can be trusted to hold the line for the relationship too. So be honest with yourself here. Is there a boundary you keep saying out loud but never actually enforce? Sit with that one, because we've now reached the reason everything else has been pointing to. This is the one I told you to pay attention to at the very beginning. Everything so far, the predictability, the overcaring, making her your world, the empty boundaries, all 4 of them grow from a single root. Pull this root out and the other 4 fix themselves. Here it is. The 5th reason many women don't want the good man most men become is this. He secretly needs her approval to feel okay about himself. Read that again slowly. Not her love, not her company, her time's approval, her constant reassurance that he's good enough, doing enough, being enough. And this is the root of all 4 reasons before it. Why does he become predictable and agree with everything? To keep her approval. Why does he panic and manage her every emotion? To keep her approval. Why does he abandon his own world? To keep her approval. Why does he refuse to enforce a single boundary? Because enforcing it might cost him her approval, and he can't afford that, because her approval is where he gets his sense of worth. Every one of the first 4 problems is just this 5th one, wearing a different mask. Here's what a woman feels when she's with a man like this. Even if she never says it, his stability depends on me. And the second she senses that her approval is the thing holding him up, something shifts. She's no longer his partner. She's his emotional supply. And you cannot be deeply attracted to someone you're afraid to disappoint, because their whole self might collapse. Now here's the freedom in this, and I promise you this is the most important sentence in the entire video. The moment you stop needing her approval, you become able to genuinely love her. Because now you're not managing her to protect your own worth. You're not agreeing to stay safe. You're not chasing to feel secure. You can be kind because you choose times to. You can disagree because you're not afraid. You can hold a boundary because your identity doesn't live in her hands. You can love her fully without losing yourself because you were never depending on her to feel whole. That's the man women describe when they say they want a good man. Not a hard man, not a cold man. A grounded man. A man who is kind from strength, not kind from fear. And the difference between those 2 men is invisible on the surface, but a woman feels it in her body within minutes. So let's bring it all the way back around. Women don't lose respect for a man because he's good. They lose respect when good times turns into times afraid. Reason 1, she can predict your every move comes from fear of creating tension. Reason 2, you confuse being needed with being wanted comes from fear of not being enough. Reason 3, you made her your whole world comes from fear of losing her. Reason 4, boundaries with no consequences comes from fear of her reaction. And reason 5, needing her approval to feel like a man is the fear underneath all of them. Remove that one fear and you don't become a worse man. You become the best times version of a good man. Warm, generous, patient, and completely unshakable. So, don't stop being kind. Don't stop caring. Don't stop loving deeply. Just stop handing someone else the job of telling you that you're enough. You already are, and the moment you truly believe that, the way people treat you starts to change in every relationship you have. Now I want to hear from you. Out of these 5, which one hit the hardest? Was it number 3? Or was it number 5? Tell me in the comments. I read as many as I can, and honestly, the comment section on these videos is where the real conversations happen. If this gave you a new way to see yourself or your relationship, do 3 quick things. Hit like so more people find it, share it with someone who needs to hear it today, and subscribe with notifications on, because next week I'm breaking down the quiet signs that a woman is starting to respect you times more, and you won't want to miss it. Once again, my name is Sophia. Stay grounded, protect your self-respect, love from strength, and I'll see you in the next